states needed to sign off on Waukesha's request to use Lake Michigan as its main water resource, the first city ever to do that outside the Great Lakes Basin. Jonah Kaplan is live in Waukesha. Jonah, how does politics play into this one?
George and Cal, you have to think about those 8 states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. They all had to unanimously vote in favor of this proposal. That means any governor, potentially a Democrat who didn't like Scott Walker, could have just said no. Instead, this was a bipartisan decision. The process took 5 years and cost Waukesha residents $5 million. A day after the historic vote, Governor Scott Walker thanked Waukesha for trusting the process.
If you get the science right, that water is important, public health is important, economic development is important, infrastructure is important, all these things are tied together.
Cities and towns like Waukesha need permission to tap into the Great Lakes if they sit outside the Great Lakes Basin. This yellow line drawn by Congress in 2008 when it set up the Great Lakes Compact. Waukesha is 1.7 miles on the other side. Officials needed to prove that the lake was the only viable option, practically, economically, and environmentally. The DNR mandates Waukesha finds new water because its current source is contaminated with radium, a radioactive metal.
This is not just a triumph of Waukesha prevailing here. It keeps the compact itself in place because it shows that it works if you meet the high bar and the high measure of clean water.
What happens next is turning this animation into real life. Waukesha will buy lake water from Oak Creek, which will pipeline the water west. Waukesha will use the water, treat the water, then send it back via the Root River in Racine.
The mains that will be going from here to Oak Creek will be built probably starting in 1 to 2.5 years or so.
Logistically, this is going to be a big project in terms of economics, bigger than big. Tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. Coming up tonight at 6, just how much it's going to cost residents here, whose water rates are going up, and yes, whose water rates are going down. We're live here in Waukesha this evening. Jonah Kaplan, today's TMJ4.